Hi there, Simon from simonwoods.com. It's Christmas Day. I don't know why I'm doing a video. Actually, I do know why I'm doing a video, because I have a strong suspicion, I haven't even started drinking yet, that some of the wines here are going to go rather nicely with our turkey done two ways. But it all comes down to Cloudy Bay and the three-legged cat. Now, I get asked lots of questions by people who send me samples. What sort of information do you want? And yes, it's all very nice having all the technical info and stuff like that. It's very important that we, of course, know that it's 47% Semillon as opposed to the previous vintage, which was 46% Semillon, because that's vitally interesting, isn't it? And the sort of information I want is all about Cloudy Bay and the three-legged cat. I need to explain. First time I went to Cloudy Bay, Cloudy Bay comes in for a bit of a ragging. I mean, to be honest, for me, the wines have, it's not that they're worse than they were. I think that there are other people who are doing wines that are similar quality and sometimes better, sometimes worse, but victims of their own success. Tall poppy syndrome and all that. But anyway, back to first visit to Cloudy Bay, back in mid-90s, 95, something like that. Yeah, the wines were good, but what impressed me most was that they had a three-legged cat called Spook. It's far more interesting than all that technical jargon. And the guy who was making the wines then, Kevin Judd. Now, Kevin Judd has now left Cloudy Bay. He consulted for a bit, and now he's got his own label called Grey-wacky. It looks like it should be spelled Greywacke, but it's Grey-wacky. As anyone, and this is bringing back the feline interest here, as anyone who is familiar with Slinky Malinky will tell you. Slinky Malinky is a cat invented by a New Zealand author called Linley Dodd, and I can't remember who Slinky Malinky's mates were, but there was Butterball Brown, Pimpernel Pugh, I think there were two twins, can't remember what they were called, but there was also Grey-wacky Jones. Lo and behold, Kevin Judd comes up with these wines called Grey-wacky. I think 2009 was the first vintage, and they did the Sauvignon. I'm afraid to say that my wife looks at the label on here, and it reminds her of something from a lady's front bottom, but we won't go into that. Let's just get into the wines. We've got 2009 Riesling. These are all Marlborough. So great. Whoops, I've got a bit of something else in there. No idea what that was. Give it a whirl. Smells tight, lean and pithy. Now, I've had a problem with some New Zealand Rieslings in the past, in that they never quite seem quite sure what they want to achieve. They've been sort of vaguely fruity and sort of off dry. This feels like it's more in that tight, limey, almost, well, in Australian terms, Clare Valley, Eden Valley type of spectrum, maybe a bit more Clare Valley style. But yes, it smells like it's going to be tight, interesting, lean, limey and minerally. It's slightly sweeter than I expected it to be, but it's still got this nice, clean, pithy, yeah, that pithy lime character. And it feels, I mean, if you want to put it in German terms, it feels sort of almost Spätlese quality, maybe Cabernet Spätlese, that light, fruity sweetness, rather than out and out icing sugar and yeah, bimbo sweetness. This feels like a more refined, grown-up type of sweetness. I like that, and not hugely sweet. I mean, for a lot of people that would pass as a dry wine, but I detect a touch of sweetness. If you hear noises going on in the background, it's about the fourth time we've had the dishwasher on today. Anyway, Sauvignon. So we're on 2010 vintage. I enjoyed the 2009 of this when I first tasted it about a year and a half ago. Let's see what this follow-on vintage is like. 2010, a terrific vintage from Marlborough Sauvignon. And this for me shows what it's all about. It's one of those where it's not necessarily the fruit is backward, but there is fruit and lots and lots of life beyond fruit. There's a tight, I mean, that was slightly minerally. This seems to have a real river pebble edge to it that smells like I want to. Well, when we're having turkey today, I almost like want a plate of some scallops or some oysters or something like that. Really lovely. It's got this, yeah, there's that pithy mineral and citrus. There's also quite a richer, like gooseberry pie type of character, ever so slightly cooked gooseberries. Dusting of sugar there. Again, one of those where, wouldn't be surprised if there is a touch of residual sugar, but very nicely in balance with the rest of the wine. Bracing, tasty. Let's see what the Pinot Gris is like. So this is 2009. Back to 2009. You're never quite sure when you open a bottle of Pinot Gris what to expect. Whether if it's outside Alsace, sometimes you're expecting something that is quite rich and full and fleshy. Sometimes you get something that's almost like more Pinot Grigio, quite not anodyne and anonymous, but yeah, anodyne and anonymous. There's a lot of really poor Pinot Grigio that doesn't taste of very much. This is much more in the straight down the line Alsace mode. One of the problems I've found with New Zealand Pinot Gris, excuse me, he said burping, is that they almost like go over the top. There was some in Central Otago in particular where they feel like they've tried to get as much flavour as possible into it. They've always treated it like an old-fashioned Chardonnay, giving it barrel, malolactic fermentation. This feels much more on that slightly laid-back, restrained, but zesty orange and mineral character of Alsace. Smells good. Again, you've got some of that river pebble undercurrent. Yeah, a real nice mineral edge here. And it's 14.5% alcohol. I think it's the most potent of the wines here. But it doesn't feel like it's going to assault you with either alcohol or sweetness. Now, that is going to be turkey friendly. There's this rich spice. There's this juicy orange and peach character. And yeah, again, a touch of sweetness, I'm sure. But it's a sweetness that contributes richness rather than something that leaves your mouth rather cloying and overwhelmed. You want to have another sip of that, preferably with. I'm just having a look what we've got around. We've got turkey done different ways, and we've got the stuffing there, which is got sage and onion, sausage meat, and various other things in them. And I think something like that will be able to cope with all the fatty flavours. Also, it's got a bit of pithy richness and a touch of acidity, which will cope with some of the other characters. One of the best Pinot Gris I've had for a long time. Very tasty. We're not having Christmas pudding today. Trying to think what we're having. Tarte tatin. Maybe the late harvest Gewürz will be the stuff for the tarte tatin. Tarte tatin, tan tan tan. Very Gewürzy. It's that lychee, rose petals, exotic, fragrant, richly spicy. It's weird that people use that word spicy, and it's more exotic Turkish delight type of character for me. I never think of Turkish delight as being particularly spicy. And the fruit there, it's that rich, oily, cling peach halves. I can't remember the last time I had a cling peach half, but that type of rich, juicy, sweet, but fruity character. Oh, really nice that. The good thing about it is, sometimes when you do Gewürztraminer and you do it as a sweet wine, you can get these over-the-top, what they call the phenolic characters. In other words, the skins have been in contact with the juice for that just a bit too much. And yes, they've given the wine flavour, but they've also given it this slightly medicinal bitterness, and that's nothing like that here at all. It just feels like a lovely, gentle, soft, caressing type of wine. And it almost has got some cooked apple flavours. I think the tarte tatin will go really nicely with that. If it doesn't, I'm sure I'll get around to sipping it with something over the course of the evening. But hey, Merry Christmas and see you soon.